Hello and welcome back to another video, and this is the Champion Chess Tour finals. This is the first round played in Norway, and today we'll be covering two matches played between Magnus Carlsen and Ian Nepomniachtchi. Now these are the two games in which in the first game Magnus wins and the second one is a draw. So the game starts with the Petrov's defense. Magnus has the white pieces, and till move 9 we see all the book moves. It's quite balanced. We see early castling by the book, and now Magnus starts to move a pawn from h5. He moves pawn to h4 with the idea that the bishop can't come here. Also, it opens up some squares for the rook to go and for the pawn to go as well. So he responds with rook to e8, and we see bishop c4. We see a bishop trade-off, and with this we have only one set of bishop, which is now targeting the dark squares. We see c6. We have pawn pushed by Magnus with the hope of ruining the center and having this rook attacking this area. And whenever he takes the queen out and he can go for a checkmate if the bishop moves, and also if the knight moves. So this is a great move played by Ian Nepomniachtchi. He moves the pawn to g6. We see queen to c3. He moves his queen to e7. And now Magnus moves his king to c50. Magnus has more edge to play with. And now this move reduces the advantage he had. The engine wants Magnus to move b3, but obviously now this is not a human-like move, or maybe a move someone lower rated would play. I mean, I would love to ruin my castle here, but when you're playing against like 2700s, you're against GM, and you're again in a tournament, you won't risk this move here. And this doesn't do much, even though computer says it's a better move. But then the idea is for the computer that if some moves go ahead like that, then it will be resulting in a good move. So that's why we can't rely on computer every time. We see another great move by Ian Nepomniachtchi. This is a move that he has to play. We see rook to h1. Now this is with the idea that he is defending this pawn here, but the engine wants him to move again this pawn b4. Now Magnus would not do this until there's a classical reason that's really obvious. So instead, he just defends, and then he moves his bishop to e7. We see rook to e1. We also see bishop going back again, targeting the pawn, hoping in a repetition of moves. Maybe Ian was hoping a repetition of moves and ending the game with a draw. Here, let me see something. Oh, okay. So he had the knight. If he had moved the knight somewhere, it was a clear checkmate. It wasn't. Okay, he has a queen as well. But then we could have seen a queen trade-off. Right, Magnus starts pushing with the rook. He moves the rook, taking the pawns and attacking the center. He has the queen in a very good position, and now Ian Nepomniachtchi tries taking control of the center as well. He tries to go for a queen trade, for a checkmate, but he is not able to go for it because here again he defends with the queen. He could have maybe defended with the bishop. That would be a more obvious move, maybe, because the rook can't come here. Knight takes, so maybe he could have defended with the bishop as well. But instead, he goes with the queen, hoping that he would go for a queen trade. Instead, he replies with he doesn't want a queen trade. Instead, he's going for the knight. He takes the bishop. So now the bishops are off the board. This is a great move because of this blunder here. I don't know what he did here. Why did he move rook to e6? There was no obvious idea for moving rook to e6, but now Magnus has more advantage to play with. we see a better position for Magnus, and now because it's uh, even Magnus is low on time, but Ian starts to do blunders here. You can see he moves the king at the wrong time, avoiding a pin here, but instead, moving the king is bad for him because when you move the knight to e5, you have a better position to play with. He can't take, he can't move the knight as well. You are targeting the queen. Finally, we see the move d7. This is a bad move because now he pins the knight from moving anywhere because the queen is now in trouble. He moves the rook to e7 with the idea that whenever he moves it, the queen is not pinned to the king. He moves another brilliant move, which is d6, and then the king goes to f8. We see this, and now we are probably gonna go with the idea that if the game continues, we would see something like this maybe. Queen's off the board, and then white has a endgame to play with, but he has a knight to play with as well, so he can win. But the game ends, Nepa resigns, and now we go for the second game, which is a draw. Okay, so the second game has some type of position like this, and we have seen a great amount of development by both the players. Ian has the white pieces, Magnus has the black pieces, and now the game starts to get into trouble for Magnus Carlsen because Ian is about to attack. The game is continuing, and we see Magnus attacking, coming back. So let me tell you, Magnus was in a bad position here. He had to avoid any chances of early checkmate against him, so what Magnus does is he starts pushing the pieces. So Magnus just goes all in. He takes the rook on e-file to get rid of the rook on e-file. That way he is more safe to play with, and he has more chances that he can survive the round. Then we see a queen trade. I don't know why Ian just went for a queen trade here. That was really early for Ian to go for a queen trade, even though he had a better position. So Ian just goes for a queen trade, and now Magnus is better. He has gone through the worst, and now there's better to come for Magnus. The game continues, and we see both the players running out of time. It's a very tough position to play in. And now we are heading towards a very tremendous endgame. And now Magnus takes his rook here, and Magnus is trying his best to put the pressure on the bishop here. The king moves back and forth, and we see a draw. And this brings us to the end of the analysis. I hope you liked it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till that, take care, and goodbye.